A town square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is 97.3 ESPN, home of the Philadelphia 76ers.
Simmons pokes it away, steals it, sidesteps him and jams a two-hand throwdown.
WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night, a Monday edition of the show right here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, where you can watch the show, join the conversation. We got a lot to get to today. So we got Phillies, 2 out of 3 in Boston over the weekend. So a couple big wins for the Phillies over the weekend. I'm still surprised they won the game yesterday. I mean, Aaron Nola goes on the COVID list basically the day he's supposed to start. They go with a bullpen game and they won. I'm still in awe. They won that game yesterday. So we'll get into the Phillies as well here. Also, home run derby tonight. We'll get into some of the odds and things with the home run derby tonight. Plus, somebody else threw Ben Simmons under the bus. If you have the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, it's free thanks to First Bank of CLC. You already saw the alert that we posted on 97.3 ESPN.com, but I'll play the audio in just a little bit as well. Another person takes a shot at Ben Simmons. I got to ask you guys, is this a new low for Ben Simmons that now celebrities are trolling him on primetime television? So we'll get to that as well. Also, I'll give you my thoughts and reactions. UFC 264 over the weekend. By the way, we nailed all the UFC picks, 4 for 4 on the UFC picks. So that's pretty exciting. If you guys were listening to me, you would have made some money on Saturday night. But either way, great card. Money was made. Good time. So we'll get to all that coming up here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Plus, the Bucks won Game 3 of the NBA Finals last night. Text board is open as always, 609-403-0973 to get on the conversation here on 97.3 ESPN FM. We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You can comment on the show. You can jump into the stream, comment in the stream while you watch the show. But we got to start with the Phillies because, as I said, the Phillies weekend did not go as I expected at all. And in a town where we have been perpetually disappointed. I mean, the Eagles season last year, the injuries completely derailed it, and it went down the drain. The Sixers season ended prematurely in some ways because between Joel Embiid's injury, Danny Green's injury, and Ben Simmons unable to make free throws, and Tobias Harris unable to make layups, Sixers couldn't beat the Hawks. The Flyers season, I mean, that was just a mess. Carter Hart played nothing like himself this year. The team played the worst defense I've seen the Flyers play in a long time. You could tell the roster was just ill-equipped for the season, and they just never could get started fully. It felt like they had a chance, and then they just faded and faded more and more. So you have the Phillies here. You have the other 3 teams that disappointed you this year in the last, 16 months. And you look around and you're like, all right, well, what about the Phillies? And the Phillies, recently, they came home. They beat the Padres 2 out of 3. You're like, all right, it's one of the best teams in baseball. They go to Chicago. They win 3 out of 4. But the game they lost with Aaron Wheeler on the mound, so you're kind of scratching your head. You're like, man, I know this team's blowing 22 saves, but I don't know what to think of this team. So then they go to Boston. I'm thinking, okay, Garrett Richards is pitching horrible. They could beat him. Maybe they lose one of the other 2 games, or maybe they lose both games. But, I thought that Aaron Nola could cap off the weekend, get you a win, lock things up, right? Completely had it wrong. The Phillies had trouble against Garrett Richards on Friday night, a guy who had a 7.7 ERA in the month of June. Then the next day, they crush the Red Sox 11-2. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I mean, at least you're 1-1 split. You go into the next day, you got a chance, right? And I'm thinking, Segura, he's hitting well. Hoskins is still hitting. All right, we're doing well. We got the offense is still churning. And then the news comes out that Aaron Nola and 3 others, boom, COVID list, out indefinitely. And I'm thinking, oh man, we're going to lose this game. We're going to end the All-Star break losing 2 out of 3 to Boston when we should have won the first game based on the numbers. And the second game, I'm still not fully sure how we crushed them, but we did. But no. In a bullpen game, a game started by Brandon Kinsler, of all people, with the guy you just called up, Sanchez, going 3 innings, only allowing 1 run. Hector Neris came in way early in the game. How about that? I mean, that was weird to see. And Ranger Suarez gets his second save of the year after pitching 2 1/3 innings. And the Phillies win 5-4. Never expected it. Oh, and by the way, Torreyes hit a home run. 3-run home run. Torreyes, your backup infielder. Yeah. Whew. Man, this Phillies team, there's something interesting. They are 44-44 right now. And all eyes are on them because they're the only act left in town. Listen, we are another couple weeks away from Eagles training camp starting up. That's down the road. We're months away from the Sixers and Flyers season starting up. So if you're a Philadelphia sports fan, all you got right now is baseball and then other sports, right? The UFC was Saturday night. The MLB draft was last night, if you fancy that. Local pitcher. Chase Petty was drafted on Sunday. Another local pitcher was drafted today. If you didn't see the news, go to 973ESPN.com and 973 ESPN mobile app. More information about the pitcher from Bishop Eustace. But look around, you don't have a lot of sports consumption options. So the Phillies are what you got. And right now, the Phillies, thanks to their weekend, are now 3.5 games back of the Mets. And with Ronald Acuna done for the year, ripped up knee, he's done. ACL torn. His year's over. The Braves lost their best player. The Washington Nationals are 5 games under 500. They can't get out of their own way. The Marlins, I think the Marlins are pretty much a done deal. They're pretty much cooked. I mean, the only team worse than them in baseball right now is the Diamondbacks. I mean, in terms of record, I mean, in terms of just who they are on the field. I mean, Black. The Diamondbacks are the worst National League team in baseball right now. Just straight up. They got 26 wins on the year. But the Phillies right now, they're 3.5 games behind the Mets. And I keep telling you guys, what if the Phillies didn't blow 22 saves? What if they blew only 12 saves? That means they would have 10 games they could have won. They could have locked it down. And if they would have won those 10 games, they'd be up 6.5 games on the Mets. This is a team that is able to contend and compete in the National League East. And I hope these last several games has opened the eyes of the Phillies front office. I hope it has opened their eyes to the reality that this team can be a winning ball club if you just give them more help in the bullpen. If you just give them a little more help overall. Again, 2 out of 3 versus the Padres, 3 out of 4 at the Cubs, 2 out of 3 in Boston. And by the way, before that, you just went 2-2 with the Mets, and that's with blowing a bunch of saves. Imagine you don't blow those saves. You lose the Mets 2-1 and 4-3. You're not losing like 10-2. No, they're 1-run games. I am not convinced for 1 minute that this Phillies team can't compete. I think if you get them a little more pitching, get them a little more help, maybe make an uncomfortable move here or there, this team can do something. And I'm not saying they're going to win the World Series, but You can win the division and get to the postseason, and you can prove that signing Bryce Harper and signing JT Realmuto and signing Zach Wheeler meant something. It wasn't just to spend money. It was because you want to be competitive. And I don't think for 1 minute Dave Dombrowski came out of his semi-retirement where he's trying to get a baseball team in Nashville just to watch a team go 44-44. If I can see it, he has to see it. A guy who's been around numerous teams in his career. He has taken all of the last 3 franchises that he has overseen to the postseason. The Red Sox won the World Series. The Tigers got to multiple World Series. The Marlins won the World Series. This is who this guy is. This guy is a guy who walks into situations as an outside set of eyes and says, all right, let's figure this out. This is who he is. This is Pat Gillick 2.0. And I got to believe that Dombrowski is looking around baseball right now and trying to figure out what he can do. You need a closer. You probably need another pitcher if you're really serious about competing. Because as far as I'm concerned, the Vince Velasquez experiment has just gone sideways again. And I mean again. I don't even know what to think of the other pitchers. I mean, I know what I'm getting from Wheeler. And I think I know what I'm getting from Eflin. And I think I know what I'm getting from Aaron Nola. But now with Aaron Nola missing who knows how much time, you're supposed to miss a minimum of 10 games when this COVID stuff comes up. But depending on if he has symptoms, depending on if and when he tested positive, it was a contact tracing, whatever the situation is, there's all these variables that go into it. And I just have to wonder, if I'm Dave Dombrowski, am I calling teams right now? I'm saying, what can I get without overspending? Because you don't have a lot of resources to give up. So what can you get for what you're willing to give up? And I think if you can get something in return that's worth more than what you have right now, you can hunt down the Mets. You know, this whole situation with DeGrom not going to the All-Star game because he wants to take care of his health and spend time with his family. First of all, I think it's an insult to baseball. I don't like these guys skipping the All-Star game at all. If you want to say the guy's got an injury and he can't go, I'm fine with that. But you cannot, for 1 minute, tell me that you couldn't at least show up, that you couldn't at least be there. I'm telling you, I don't like it. I think it's distasteful. I think it's disrespectful to the game. Listen, you could have just shown up and waved your cap and said, hey, everybody, I'm here for the game. For years, players have been showing up to the All-Star game and not playing for injuries or whatever. But now you got no Buster Posey, who's having a phenomenal season. He's not playing. DeGrom's the best pitcher in baseball. He's not playing. Mookie Betts, one of the 10 best players in the entire sport, not playing. No Yu Darvish, having a really good year. No Kevin Gausman. No Brandon Woodruff, who's not the best, one of the best pitchers in the Brewers. You go to the American League. Mike Trout has a legitimate injury. I get that. He didn't opt out, though, like Jose Altuve. Jose Altuve is healthy enough to hit a game-winning home run over the weekend against the Yankees, but he can't play tomorrow night. Can't even show up. Now, Carlos Correa, he's got a COVID issue like Aaron Nola. I get that. But, man, I don't like all these guys just say, I don't want to be there. I don't feel like going. I don't feel like playing. I think it's disrespectful. The fans voted for you. People selected you to be there. Not everybody gets to do this. But you're just going to bail because you just don't feel like it. These guys need to get over their feelings. So the Phillies are 44-44 at the All-Star break. You can tell them what you can think. 609-403-0973 is the text board to get on the conversation. Listen to 973 ESPN FM and 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter with your guys' thoughts and comments as well here on 973 ESPN. I will also get to somebody else throwing Ben Simmons under the bus. Recap for you, UFC 264. All coming up right here on Game Night with yours truly, Josh Hennig, on 973 ESPN FM. And I mentioned 973 ESPN mobile app. We send you guys alerts every day throughout the week. Any news on the Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, Flyers. You would have known about the guys not being on the field on Sunday if you would have had 973 ESPN mobile app. We sent that alert out Sunday morning. That's where I learned. I woke up, boom, the alert's on my phone. I'm like, all right, no Aaron Nola today. This is going to be a train wreck. I had to watch. Then I realized it won anyway. And we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, where you can watch the show and comment. I see comments from James and Douglas. We'll get to you guys coming up on the other side as well, right here with yours truly, Josh Hennig, at Josh Hennig on Twitter, to at me and chat with me throughout the week.
Hammers one to right. That one on its way. That one is gone. Unbelievable.
I got some time to sit back and soak it all in and watch some guys hit some moonshots.
Pinch hit homer. Shohei Ohtani. He also fires the bat up. He's your home run derby champion.
Coverage begins today at 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Listen to Major League Baseball on 97.3 ESPN.
On some models excludes Corvette with GM financing, excludes prior sales. See dealer for details.
By now, most people know that nobody beats a Bennett Chevrolet deal.
Because when you buy a new Chevy from Bennett, you pay the same as any GM supplier employee pays.
That's right, not 1 cent more. Plus, Bennett gives you all the rebates that can add up to 25% off MSRP. That's up to 25% off. And of course, Bennett Chevy has 0% financing available. Think about all the ways you save at Bennett Chevrolet. Plus, right now, we want your trade. So we're paying a minimum $7,000 for any clunker. You heard right, a minimum $7,000 towards any pre-owned in stock. Nobody pays more than Bennett. You can imagine how much more we'll pay for a good trade. And there's more. You'll never feel any sales pressure and never waste time with stressful negotiating.
Because our non-commissioned sales staff is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend.
Nobody beats Bennett Chevrolet, and we mean nobody. Find new roads at Bennett Chevy at Hubbard Township and BennettChevy.com.
If you're ready to get back to work or are just thinking of changing careers, 97.3 ESPN's virtual job fair is the place to start. Just go to 973ESPN.com and click on the virtual job fair. You'll find exciting opportunities from a variety of local businesses, including
Precision Electronic Glass in Vineland,
Maurice Piers in Wildwood,
Release Boatworks in Egg Harbor,
Town Square Media in South Jersey.
Take the first step to a brighter future today. Visit 973ESPN.com.
Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. And we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We'll get to your guys' thoughts and comments in just a bit right here on 97.3 ESPN. Text board is open as always at 609-403-0973. We have a trade proposal on the text board, 609-403-0973. Get on the conversation right here on 97.3 ESPN. I'm also live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Douglas Finn says, let's go Phils. Hey, man, you should be saying let's go Phils because you know what? You have a situation where I think there's a possibility you could actually do something, okay? You know, I don't think this team is a complete lost cause. I'm not sold on this idea that they should sell or any of that stuff. Is just very, very, it's not necessary. I think that this team can still go out there and do well. I think that this team has a lot of potential to play well. And I think that now that they're healthy, we're seeing a lineup that's able to do some damage. And now that the lineup's able to do some damage, you know, maybe we can parlay that into something else. You just need a little bit more pitching. Just a little bit more pitching. That's what I think. Now, I promise I get to this trade proposal. So, and the texter chimed in with a correction on the trade, but it looks like it's the same deal. So I'm just going to pop up on the screen here for everybody watching on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So the texter basically is suggesting the Phillies should trade Mickey Moniak and Enyel De Los Santos or Mauricio Oliveira or Raymond Rosso for Austin Hayes and Paul Fry. Now, for those who don't know, Austin Hayes is a guy who's a solid but not great outfielder for the Orioles. I think he's batting around 257. I'm going to double check that in a minute here. You know, I know he's got 9 home runs on the year. He's a nice little player. Nothing special. Let's see what he's batting. 247. I gave him too much credit. 257. It's 247. So I don't really know why you would want Austin Hayes, except for you're trying to replace Odubel. It's weird because if you compare Odubel and Austin, is there really that much of a difference? Let me double check Odubel numbers, but I feel like Odubel is not playing that much better or worse than Hayes is. So Odubel has 6 home runs, 25 RBIs, and a 241 batting average in 62 games. Austin Hayes has 9 home runs, 31 RBIs, a 247 batting average in 59 games. So Austin Hayes has 3 more home runs in 3 less games. And he has 6 more RBIs in 3 less games. So, okay, he's a more productive than Odubel Herrera. And he bats right in while Odubel Herrera hits left. I don't understand why you want Hayes except for you want to get rid of Herrera. Aside for the Paul Fry thing, I don't understand why you want Paul Fry, though. He's got a 4.09 ERA this year. Also, I am not a believer in pitchers who have a high ERA changing leagues. I don't think that's going to solve anything. There's that old theory out there that, well, American League pitchers have a higher ERA than National League. I think that theory's going away with interleague play. So now he does have a nice strikeout to inning ratio. I'm cool with that. Here's the problem. I don't know if the Orioles want Moniak. If I was making a trade, if you want to say De Los Santos and Rivera for Paul Fry, I can maybe rock with that. Maybe. I'm not 100% in on that. Again, I think that Fry is a nice left-handed pitcher, but I don't know if he's what? He's basically a Ranger Suarez or maybe slightly better at this point. And I think De Los Santos, I don't even know what his value is. I mean, he's got a 6.35 ERA. He's youngish, I guess. Maybe that's the appeal of trading him. I know he's 25, so I don't really understand. So, here's the problem. When we make trade proposals, whether it's you guys listening or me on the radio or Mike Gill or anybody else, I think that we forget that, okay, if I say let's trade Mickey Moniak, De Los Santos, and another couple pitchers, do the Orioles want Moniak? Do the Orioles want De Los Santos? Do the Orioles want Mauricio Rivera, who is pretty much one of the more average pitchers in the minor leagues I've ever seen? And Paul Fry is a solid major league pitcher. I get that. But I don't even know if the Orioles want Moniak. But if you wanted to say trade De Los Santos and Mauricio Rivera and see if they'll bite on Paul Fry, okay, I can rock with that. But I don't know about trading. I don't know what value Moniak has at this point except for throwing him into a bigger deal. Like if you were in the offseason to trade Rhys Hoskins, and let's say in the offseason you traded Rhys Hoskins, or maybe I'm just throwing out a scenario. What if you traded Rhys Hoskins, Duple Herrera, and Mickey Moniak, and 4 other players for somebody? Okay, I don't know, Kyle Gibson and Ian Kennedy for the Rangers. Moniak's a throw-in to make the deal a little bit more fat. He's not the guy who's going to get you a return. I think Moniak's one of the biggest mistakes this organization has ever made. They should have never have drafted in. Clint Hack's an idiot. McPhail's an imbecile. All right? The fact that they thought this guy was going to be something special, they sold us a bill of goods, as the Diaz brothers would say, wolf tickets. They just threw wolf tickets at us and said, trust us. Well, we trusted you, and we got nowhere. So I don't know if the Orioles will make that deal. But maybe De Los Santos, Rivera, and maybe Rosso, all 3 of them for Paul Fry, I can maybe see that deal happen. I don't think the Phillies have a lot of value right now in their system. Now, James watching on YouTube, if you're watching on 973 ESPFM, YouTube channel, Facebook, and Twitter, you can comment on the show as well. James brings up Rodriguez, the Pirates closer. So here's the deal with Rodriguez. Rodriguez is an older pitcher. He's 31 years old. He came up to the major leagues at 27. He's a late bloomer. He right now has 12 saves for the Pirates. He's got a good ERA. He's the kind of guy that I could see the Phillies going in after. I think that's a very good recommendation by James because Rodriguez is going to be a free agent. Okay? He's arbitration eligible next year, and he's a free agent in a couple of years, but he's 31 years old. So if you're the Pirates, this is an opportunity for you to get an arbitration guy off of your books, dump him on somebody else. Now, let's go back to the previous trade idea. If you were to call the Pirates, because remember, Fry is 28 years old. Rodriguez is 31. So you got a guy who's 3 years older, a little less appealing on the market, and you said, I'll give you De Los Santos, Mauricio Rivera, and or Raymond Rosso. I would probably go, might have to do all 3 as well, but maybe you only get 2 out of it. The Pirates, at least this way, are saying, we're getting something for a guy that we don't really know if we want long-term. Because again, Rodriguez is an older player. Next year, he's going to be 32 years old. do the Pirates really want to deal with an arbitration-eligible guy for the next 2 years, or do they want to cut ties with the Raiders? Right now, you can get something for him, an older guy, 2 younger pitchers who are maybe salvageable. I think De Los Santos is salvageable. I think De Los Santos is the guy that makes the most sense. Rosso is a guy, he's maybe salvageable as well. So, to me, I think the Rodriguez idea is interesting. Richard Rodriguez of the Pirates. Like I said, he's having a good year so far this year. His strikeout to inning ratio, though, bothers me. While Fry has, let me double check. I think it's 44 strikeouts at 33 innings. Yeah. Fry has 44 strikeouts at 33 innings. Rodriguez has 29 strikeouts at 35 innings. So you're not going to get a bunch of strikeouts from this guy. And that concerns me a little bit. Now, he doesn't walk people, so he does have some control, okay? He's only got 3 walks on the year. So I would be open to Rodriguez. I wouldn't hate that deal, but I think you're giving up De Los Santos and somebody else to get him. I think Fry is as good, if not slightly better, than Ranger Suarez at this point. Rodriguez gives you a right-handed arm that's reliable, and I think the Pirates would give up on that guy. I think the Orioles right now are in a position where they're in a hard rebuild, and for them, if I'm the Orioles, the guy that I'm shopping, considering my record and where I'm at in this rebuild, because they're in a hard rebuild. They have 28 wins on the year. The Orioles are going nowhere this year. So if I'm the Orioles, the guy that I'm really trying to sell off isn't guys like Hayes or guys like Fry. The guy I'm probably trying to hard sell to somebody right now, anybody who's willing to listen. I mean, I'm probably taking calls on guys like Mancini. Mancini's 29 years old. He's an all-star this year. He's had a solid year. Now, he's not a guy for the Phillies because, Mancini and Rhys Hoskins play the same position. I don't know if you're going to trade Mancini for Hoskins. I don't think that's a deal that would really make the Phillies that much better. But he's probably a guy that the Orioles probably trying to sell off because of his age and because of where they're going with their franchise. If you're going to look at anybody else, I mean, I would assume the Orioles would maybe at least hear calls on Hayes, maybe hear calls on Cedric Mullins. I certainly wouldn't take calls on either guy because I think the Orioles, they need as many young, controllable players as possible. So, but some good ideas from you guys out there. Appreciate the text. Appreciate the message over on Facebook and YouTube. Keep them coming, 609-403-0973. For me, the guy that I would like to see the Phillies go after is the guy from the Cardinals, Alex Reyes. Alex Reyes fascinates me because he's a first-time All-Star this year. He is a guy who has shown the ability in the bullpen this year to be really good. And I don't think the Cardinals are going anywhere. And I think that the Phillies can make a nice enough offer to the Cardinals. They'd be willing to give him up. Either him or maybe go after a package of Ian Kennedy and Kyle Gibson from the Rangers. Now, the problem with the Rangers is they're probably looking for a lot for those guys, depending on what they get for Joey Gallo. But if you can wait out the market and maybe you turn to the Rangers, and if they don't get the bigger returns they want for Gallo, they haven't gotten what they really wanted for Gibson, maybe you turn to them and say, look, we'll give you a little more, but you got to throw Ian Kennedy in the deal. That way you get another bullpen pitcher. You get a real solid starter. Kyle Gibson's having a good year. Now, I'm going to assume that the Rangers are going to have a lot of bidders for Kyle Gibson. So that might be a hard deal to pull off. But Dream World, I wouldn't mind seeing Gibson here. And then one of the reasons I want to see Gibson here is because the fact that Gibson has as low of an ERA as he does, and he plays for the Rangers, a team in a ballpark that typically gives up a good amount of runs. He had a shutout last year in the COVID year. He's a first-time All-Star this year. He's 33 years old, so a team like the Rangers will love to get something in return for him. We know he has a history of being a guy that can chew up some innings. Remember, this is a guy who's had over 190 innings twice in his baseball career. So he's a guy who chews up innings. He's a guy that will go out there and be serviceable for you. And maybe he just hit his prime. Maybe this is the best he's ever going to be. So why not take advantage of him? I mean, he certainly got a better ERA and record than the Phillies got Joe Blanton over 13 years ago. So why not? Why not go take the risk? So that's a guy that I personally would love to see the Phillies go after. All right, Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. We're going to hit the break here. I'm going to play you the audio. So the Ben Simmons trolling has gone to the next level. I'm going to play the audio for you next. I'll also give you my thoughts on UFC 256 as well after the break right here on Game Night. I'm telling you guys, this is a whole new level of Ben Simmons criticism right here. It's funny, but it's harsh. We'll get to that next right here. Josh Hennig live in the Matt Black Kia studios here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Matt Black Kia, they want to get you approved today. Matt Black Kia, Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township. Visit them online at mattblackkia.com. Keep the text coming. 609-403-0973 is the text board. 609-403-0973. We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We can watch the show. You can comment just like Douglas and James did on the stream. You can jump in the stream conversation. Get your comment in. We got one more segment coming up next right here. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night.
The Midsummer Classic. The 2021 Major League Baseball All-Star Game.
He's the most remarkable and most exciting player in the game right now.
Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, and Vlad Guerrero lead the American League. They'll face Fernando Tatis Jr., Freddie Freeman, Ronald Acuna Jr. The 2021 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Coverage begins tomorrow at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Listen to Major League Baseball on 97.3 ESPN.
If you're ready to get back to work or are just thinking of changing careers, 97.3 ESPN's virtual job fair is the place to start. Just go to 973ESPN.com and click on the virtual job fair. You'll find exciting opportunities from a variety of local businesses, including
Hard Rock Hotel and Casino,
Town Square Media in South Jersey, Resorts Casino Hotel,
Cape May Lewis Ferry,
Maurice Piers in Wildwood.
Take the first step to a brighter future today. Visit 973ESPN.com.
Are wasps, ants, or carpenter bees bugging you? Viking Pest Control can protect your home or business this summer. For a limited time, new customers save $50 on any service. Get a fast, free quote at VikingPest.com.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Josh Hennig back here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM. 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of CLC. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Final segment of the show here. We'll get to more of your thoughts and comments. They come in. 609-403-0973 is text. We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. All right, I promise I get to this audio. So you may or may not have known the ESPYs were going on this weekend. And it's not really your fault. It wasn't really advertised or promoted very well. You know, in a world where, you know, Wimbledon coverage was all over ESPN, and you had the Euro on Sunday afternoon, at least our time Sunday afternoon, and you had McGregor versus Poirier 3 on Saturday night, the NBA Finals on Sunday night. You had all kinds of sports stuff going on. Usually ESPYs fall on the day that there's no sports on. It's usually the day after the All-Star break. Well, this year they kind of put it on a Saturday, so it kind of got forgotten about. But the host of the ESPYs this year was Anthony Mackie. Now, for those who don't know, Anthony Mackie is one of the stars of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, okay? He's one of the faces of the billion-dollar machine that is the MCU movie-making machine. And his show, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, was the second most watched digital streaming show on the planet this year. So he's a star. He is a Hollywood star. And at the ESPYs, they do these comedy skits. They have these little bits they do. And Mackie, he kind of attacked everybody at this weekend. But he decided to go after Ben Simmons. And I got to ask you guys, is this a new low for Ben Simmons? Take a listen.
Ben Simmons took home a special ESPY for his humanitarian work. Yes. Not everyone knows this, but Ben Simmons has been building orphanages like this one completely out of his playoff bricks. What do you like to say, little ladies?
So for those who couldn't see it, literally they showed Ben Simmons missing a bunch of free throws, and he has these two young girls, look like they're probably like, you know, somewhere between like 5 and 9 years old. I'm not good with kids' ages, but I'm assuming they're around that age, and they come walking on the stage, basically inferring that Ben Simmons, his free throw shooting was so bad that he could do that. He could build orphanages with so many bricks. So that's a whole new level of trolling. It really is. Because number one, you have the guy who's known as Captain America just throwing you under the bus. It wasn't the greatest joke in the world, but it was just the fact that you were willing to do that and somebody approved that means that somebody somewhere thought that it was good enough idea. And man, is that a new low for Ben Simmons to get thrown under the bus by the new Captain America of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I mean, the guy is a global superstar. He's hosting the ESPYs. The video I just played you, which is over at 97.3 ESPN.com, you can see the whole thing there. It's got over 3 million views on Twitter already. So more people might have seen that than actually the ESPYs live. But man, that's a whole new level of throwing Ben Simmons under the bus. So you guys can let me know how you feel about that. 609-403-0973. Oh my goodness. And Mackie says it with such a straight face. Like, he doesn't break out of character at all. I mean, he plays it right through. I mean, the dude, if you ever thought Mackie was a good actor, no, now he's a great actor because he didn't flinch, he didn't wink, he didn't do nothing. He played that straight as straight. Wow. So you can view the video over 973ESPN.com with that. So I promise you guys I'd play that. Just absolutely bonkers. All right. A couple things before we get out of here. Home Run Derby tonight. Hear all the action right here on 973 ESPN. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. The odds right now over my friends over at FanDuel Sportsbook. When you sign up, promo code Hennig, your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Also, same game parlay. You opt in during the NBA Finals. You have a chance to double, triple, or even more your winnings up to a $500 payout. Promo code Hennig with FanDuel Sportsbook. All right. Home Run Derby. Ohtani's the favorite, but he's plus 210. So even if you think Ohtani is going to win, you can still win some money on that. I mean, plus 210 is a solid number. The guy that I liked, that I thought I was going against Ohtani in the first round was Juan Soto. He's plus 800. Joey Gallo, he's a good number, plus 350. He's a big bomber. The defending champion from 2019, Pete Alonso, he is plus 500. The most outlandish numbers, they're just not worth your bet. Trey Mancini, plus 1,600. Salvador Perez, plus 900. And the reason why those guys are such far out odds is because of also who they're facing. Okay, you got to factor that in. All right, the bracket I think has to factor in who you think is going to win this, because it's going to be Ohtani versus Soto, and the winner of that matchup gets the winner of Alonso and Perez. I think Perez gets the worst matchup. I think Alonso is going to beat him in the first round. And then the winner of Soto and Ohtani, I think, is going to beat Alonso. So I think that whoever wins Ohtani, Soto is going to get to the final. On the other side of the bracket, you have Gallo versus Story, and then Olsen versus Mancini. I think Olsen's going to crush Mancini, honestly. I think Olsen is one of the most underrated sluggers of all of baseball. And I think that if he gets on enough of a hot streak, he could definitely go far. I think that if you have a situation where, like, here's what I think is going to happen. I want Soto to get out of the first round and go far, but I think Ohtani might edge out Soto, but I'm still all in on Soto. I think Soto can get this. The other side of the bracket, though, I think here's what's going to happen. I think Gallo and Story are going to have a tough matchup, but Olsen's going to bash too many home runs. And I think you would have a situation where if you go on the FanDuel Sportsbook, you think it's going to be Gallo versus Ohtani, that's plus 320. So there's some nice odds if you want to get a little action on the home run derby today. I'm going to be watching. I love the home run derby. I think it's too much fun. You got some real stars in this. I mean, you got Ohtani's one of the biggest stars of all of baseball right now. Pete Alonso is your defending champion for the Mets. Juan Soto is one of the best young players in all of baseball. Salvador Perez is the best hitting catcher in all the American League. Trevor Story in front of the home crowd. We know the home guy has won multiple times in front of the fans, including a few years ago. I just forgot his name. Let's see. Oh, Todd Frazier in front of the Reds fans. So there's a lot of ways this home run derby can go. So it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. Before we get out of here, I promise you guys to give you some thoughts on UFC 264. I think the thing that we need to take away from that is McGregor, he's taken too much time off before coming back recently. The fact that he injured himself initially on a checked leg kick, which he could jibber jabber all he wants, that didn't affect me. It affected him. You go back and watch the video in slow motion, you can tell when Poirier lifts his leg to check that leg kick, there's a little trauma to that ankle on McGregor. So he was already working with a part of his body that was damaged. And then he stepped back, he hurt himself, fight was over. It was a real scummy thing to do by McGregor to say what he said about Poirier's wife. I don't care about the screenshot. I don't care about the speculation or the suggestion that she tried to message him. It doesn't matter. We've never seen what she's going to say. We've never seen the actual message. For all we know, she could have been jumping in his DMs to curse him out. We have no idea. But I think McGregor is playing too hard in this villain role. I think he's disgraced himself, what he said before and after the fight this week. I think that he's trying to play up to this villain role character that he has a little too much. And I think that McGregor needs to think long and hard about the person, the human being he wants to be. There's nothing wrong with being professional and courteous before a fight. He didn't lose the fight because he was courteous to Poirier. He lost the fight because Poirier is the better fighter right now. Poirier deserves this shot for the lightweight championship. McGregor needs to go heal up and have his money fight with Nate Diaz for the trilogy. That's what McGregor needs to figure out. And then if he beats Nate Diaz, then he can have a conversation about anything after that. Until then, McGregor needs to chill out and shut up. By the way, did I tell you guys, that Gilbert Burns is going to win? Winner. Right there. That was a good fight, dude. Stephen Thompson just passed his prime. He doesn't have any. Good for Gilbert Burns. All right, Josh Hennig, this is Game Night. Thanks, everybody, for listening and chiming into the show. I'll catch you tomorrow at 6 o'clock here on 97.3 ESPN.
Hammers one to right. That one on its way. That one is gone. Unbelievable.
I got some time to sit back and soak it all in and watch some guys hit some moonshots.
Pinch hit homer. Shohei Ohtani. He also fires the bat up. He's your home run derby champion.
Coverage begins today at 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Listen to Major League Baseball on 97.3 ESPN.